How's it going? Today we're going to learn how to solve some equations. These are pretty simple Algebra 1 equations. We've got a bunch of different steps, so we're just going to follow the rules. We're going to go step by step. We're going to get through all these. Alright, so first we're going to start with this over here. We've got 3h minus 5h plus 11 equals 17. So the first step that we want to do is we want to combine our like terms. So the 3h minus the 5h, that's on the same side of the equal sign, so we can just do 3 minus 5. So we get negative 2h. Okay, we bring down the plus 11, we bring down the 17. Okay, now we can just subtract the 11. We get negative 2h equals 6. We just divide by the negative 2, and we get h equals negative 3. Alright, so there's that one. Second one down here, if you have a whole side that's being divided by a number, okay, it doesn't matter if there's 2 terms up here, 3 terms up here, 4 terms up here, whatever. If the whole side is being divided by a number down here, the best thing to do is just what you would normally do to get rid of any fraction. Okay, so you want to just multiply through by the denominator. So in this case, that's a 2. So if we do times 2 and times 2, the 2's over here are going to cancel. So we're multiplying by 2, but this top part isn't really changing. It's just x plus 5. Okay, over here, 18 times 2 is 36. So then I subtract the 5, and I get x equals 31. Okay, so that one may look a little bit confusing, but it's actually really, really simple. Okay, just multiply by that denominator. Okay, up here, we've got 2 different options, and really it's the same thing. It's just whichever one you want to do first. Okay, but because we have this distributive property right here, we have 2 times this a minus 3 term. Okay, this is all one big term. Okay, so we've got to deal with this in some way, shape, or form before we can take anything out of the parentheses and before we can combine anything with the 7. Okay, so maybe the easiest thing to do, okay, would be to just subtract the 7 and go ahead and get it away. So now we have 2, we have a minus 3, and then negative 9 and negative 7 is going to make negative 16. Alright, now, anytime you have this that looks like distributive property and you have a number over here all by itself, you want to check and you want to see if this number, this 2, is divisible or will go into that number, okay, the negative 16. And in this case it does. So if it does, we can go ahead and divide. So we get a minus 3. The 2's make a 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so they cancel, make a 1. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So now all we have to do is add the 3. We get a equals negative 5. Now, at any point we could have just done distributive property. So up here at the beginning we could have done distributive property first and then combined the like terms and worked it out. Down here we could have done distributive property and then just worked it out that way. Okay, but this is probably the fastest and the easiest way to get that done. Alright, down here we've got all these fractions. Okay, the fractions sometimes make things complicated. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of the fractions. Well, to get rid of the fractions, we've got to find a common denominator. We've got a 3 as the denominator, 2 as the denominator, and then 14. The 14 over here is like 14 over 1. Okay, so our common denominator would be 6 because 3 and 2 both go into 6. So if I multiply everything by 6, okay, a 6 there, a 6 here, and a 6 out here. Okay, 6 times 2 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so I've got 4x. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so I've got 3x. Okay, and then 14 times 6, I may have to get a calculator for that. I may know how to do it. I may can write it on paper. Either way, I'm going to get 84. Okay, so now I just combine the like terms. 4x and 3x make 7x, and I've got equals 84. So now I divide by 7, and 84 divided by 7 is 12. So my final answer is 12. Now there is another way I could have done this, and that's probably fine. There's probably a couple other ways I could do this, but this way right here is definitely the easiest. Alright, over here I've got two options again. Okay, I can do distributive property, or I can get rid of the fraction first. Okay, if let's say for instance on this one I want to go ahead and do distributive property. What I need to do is I need to check, and I need to look at this denominator. Does this denominator go into evenly this number and this number? If it does, when I do distributive property, that means that I'm going to be able to make this fraction go away. It's going to cancel itself out. Alright, so if I do 2/3 times the 9, okay, 2 times 9 is 18, 18 over 3 is 6, so this is 6x. If I do 2/3 times the negative 27, okay, well 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into negative 27 9 times, so negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. And then I have my 36. Okay, so if I want to now add the 18, I have 6x equals 8 and 6 is 4, carry the 1, 54. Okay, so now 6x equals 54. I divide by 6, I get x equals 9. Alright, so there you go. 5 different types of equations that you're going to see on the work that we're doing today. Hopefully you have a good understanding of what's going on, and you're going to do great. We'll see you next time.